Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, welcome to another week of Dancing with the Stars here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Kristyn Burtt. I want to thank Suri Serano for holding down the fort last week. I know you guys had a great time with Mark Ballas in studio.
We did.
Hooray!
We did.
And well, we're going to be talking about week 4 and most memorable year, or probably bring out the tissues year, because it's always it's always such an emotional week. Yeah. But let's introduce everyone that's in studio. I'm actually going to go across the table first, and Suri Serano.
Hello.
Hey, good to see you.
I'm all red and blushing because we have a really hot gentleman in the studio.
Sitting next to me. We'll introduce him last, but certainly not least. Sitting in for Jake. Jake is doing Mr. Mistopheles in Cats, so he's at rehearsal right now. He'll be out the next couple weeks. But Darvena Plante is back here in studio. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
We love her.
On the couch.
I know. I'm a guest today.
But you know, it's the royal couch, or we like to call it the Victor Ortiz couch. The Victor Ortiz couch.
Is that so?
Were you here the week he was here?
Yeah.
He hugged that pillow really tight.
Yeah,
Anna Trebunskaya.
For Victor. Hi, everybody.
And our guest this week, sitting right next to me, Keo Motsepe.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. We know this is going to be a great show. And well, I know we have a lot of dances to talk about, but I just want to touch base a little bit on your season with Charlotte, just to talk a little bit about it, because it was pretty eventful.
Yeah, it was.
It was, you know, you were there on the show for, what, 3 weeks altogether?
Hello.
And then, but I felt like it was action-packed. Come on, it was an action-packed 3 weeks.
It was fun. I had a good time.
3 months.
It was, for like 7 weeks.
Oh, man.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, tell us about Charlotte, because I felt like it was really a roller coaster for her in terms of, like, focusing, a little bit of the cyberbullying. It was a lot to go through in a short amount of time.
I mean, well, she had like so many things going on in her life, and I think Dancing with the Stars, the pressure of it, and you know the work ethic, and her having the, you know, she can't concentrate on so many things at once, and you know the dancing, it has like so many things that goes into it. You know, it has the preparation, the costumes, the choreography, everything. So I think for her it was one of this year. Hold on, it was one of those. Sorry, I'm very young. I'm just gonna put it on this. One of those things for her was like, is she ready for this? Like after 1 week, she looked at me and she goes, I hit a wall. You know?
After 1 week.
Wow. It was rough on her. Like it was rough. Like her work after the Super Bowl, it just kicked, you know, and also having the show. And I was like, come on, let's push. Not one first week, no first week.
Don't do it.
Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, we had fun. I had fun this season. I still talk to her, which is amazing. You know,
She had gorgeous legs. They were divine.
yeah. She's very gorgeous.
They were quite divine.
Mark did mention when he was here that, you know, he knows you really well, but that you probably had to have gotten to. Oh God, he's watching this too.
Sorry.
That you probably had to have gotten pretty frustrated to get to the point where you had to tell her to put her phone down, you know.
Yeah, that phone, like all the time. Like I'll say, okay, let's do the step, and then she'll walk away from me, and I'm like, breathe, Keo, breathe, and she does it again. And for me, it wasn't just for me. It was just also for the people inside the room, like the camera people, just the respect. You know, just you working with other people, just respect their time and the effort, you know, that they put into us, you know. These people have to go back to CBS and put our package together, you know, and also I wanted to have a great package for her also, you know, but...
Right, which is important.
So
yeah.
That's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and it's hard. I think we saw it last season with Tavis, you know, just sometimes people can't multitask very well, and you do have to rehearse and you have to focus. And some people are great at it. You know, you see someone like Nastia flying back and forth. We've seen that Snooki did it to make sure or Nicole, you know, flying back and forth to make sure she took care of her family. Noah's doing it, but it's not easy at all. And you just have to be really present during the season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're glad you're here, though.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
With 6 ladies.
And we'll be, yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, let's get into the very first dance, and that was Nastia and Derek kicking off the night. Of course, 2008, her win in Beijing at the Olympics was her big year, of course, and doing the Argentine tango. I'm going to start with you, Anna.
I mean, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. What I really liked about the beginning of the routine is that I felt with a lot of the routines, it was very much on the nose for a lot of the routines. And some were successful and some were not as successful, in my opinion. But with Nastia, it was it was a song that she performed to, okay? But it was pure Argentine tango. It wasn't, oh, let me put this stuff and Olympic medals flying around and, you know, maybe a few extra gymnasts doing their twirls, or should they not doing twirls, but you know what I'm talking about.
Tumbling and flipping. And yeah.
Let's do a couple of tumbling and flipping. It was none of that, which I respect because it was just pure Argentine tango choreography, brilliant choreography, I think, and she is able to execute it so well. I mean, those legs, I know what you're going to say, but those legs were beautiful. The feet, however, did sickle a few times, and that's the gymnast curse, I guess. I mean, as gorgeous as her lines are, her feet were just a little sickling.
They were sickling when they were in the lift, but
that's not a gymnast thing. Sorry, I'm totally defending gymnasts.
Okay, but that's not a gymnast thing, but that's the thing that we always discuss, and the couple of the gymnast girls that were on the show sometimes extended so much that they end up overextending the outside edge of their feet, and I think that's what
Nastia doesn't normally sickle her feet. That's why I was actually when I did see
it was the first time
I saw that first sickle in that very first lift that they did, and I was like, oh, that was really unusual. But
right, but I knew that you were going to notice it, and then in the end when they did the what we call it, the bird, I don't know. There was
the
fish.
I got called the fish.
The
in
fish,
ballet,
yeah, they call the fish in ballet, but in Russia they call it the bird. I don't know. Gorgeous, everything. Whatever Len Goodman had to say, I mean, I can see his point. That he wanted it to be much more intimate and more into each other. And she's so strong and so on her own feet that I felt like she is so in control of her movement that it was almost like she didn't really need to depend on Derek in connection. Not physical connection, because there are a lot of lifts and stuff, but I guess that chemistry and that intimacy. I mean, she was performing to the outside, where in Argentine tango it's much more
internal
and intimate. It's boutique of a dance, not so, you know, it's not a circus. Shouldn't be a circus. It should be a dark lit room just for the two of them.
Well, let's talk about that Len comment, because you and I had talked a little bit about it. I mean, what are your thoughts about the character of it?
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you, Suri, because I know you had an opinion. Yeah. Darvena can go next, but yeah.
100%. So I agree with Len. I agree with you. I think the routine was flawless for me. I didn't even notice the sickled feet, and I have to go back and watch. But Nastia has never done a sickled foot in her life, so I'm not concerned about that moving forward. She is, what she has to work on is going outside of herself. Gymnasts, we can perform, but making it intimate and bringing people in and having that connection is what her challenge is going to be. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Darvena?
I totally agree. I mean, the choreography and her dancing ability is insane. Like, I was watching in studio and, you know, she's so in control of her movement, her body weight, you know, there's no question of where she should be. So for me, the routine was really on point and it was just action-packed. The one thing, you know, I agree with Len, but it's only a small thing, and I think, you know, week 4 is only going to progress, you know, the performance, and that's what we want to see, you know, that development. So that's where she's going to grow.
Yeah, because technically,
One more thing I want to add. If this was any other season, this would have gotten all 10s.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Just talking about scoring.
What if we threw her in season 18 up against Meryl? How great would that have
Oh
been?
my God, that would be a
would be
battle to
interesting.
die for.
Can you imagine? Like throw it all down on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was so excited that they were doing Argentine tango because this dance is
Yes.
made for Nastia's lines. I mean, she's gorgeous, and I think that Len, did make a good comment because you need to give a constructive criticism somewhere. So I guess that's where she's going to need to work.
Right.
Because the rest
She's
of it's all
amazing,
falling in
though.
place.
Like, she's amazing. She just, the first week when I saw her, I was like, sorry, what? Are we coming against her?
I know.
I mean, she's just, she's powerhouse, man.
She is.
She's a killer.
She was on my flight to New York. She's so fit too. Like,
Wow.
I was like, I'm ready for a nap. And she was there with her Dancing with the Stars hair and makeup still from her samba. And I was like, you look amazing. But she just looked really great.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's because sometimes it's hard to go from an elite athlete and then not training anymore. Sometimes the body doesn't know what to do. But she just got
trains
that.
a lot.
You can tell. I mean, she looks great. All right. So I'll kind of all over the place with the scores 9, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Great.
Len
it
was a little
should-
bit lower.
Should have been either all 9s or there should have been a few more 10s.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
36 altogether, but a great start to the night. We then go to Michael and Peta doing the rumba, and this one was a hard one to watch because Michael Sam has been very open about his personal life, but he still kept one thing sort of close to the vest, and that was his relationship with his dad. And I just watched that and thought, I hope this opens a dialogue with his dad because.
Yeah.
This is a hard thing to do, and to do it publicly is a whole other thing.
Absolutely.
It was a bit rough, to be honest with you. Like, being backstage and watching that, I was like, some people are going through that at this moment,
Right?
Yes.
And he
it's
watched it
just-
too,
Yeah,
didn't he?
and-
He stood there and
and
watched it in studio.
I don't know how he can watch his package and then dance after that.
I know.
Like, it's so rough. Like, I don't know how he did
Yeah.
that, but, great on him,
Yeah.
He did amazing, though.
What did you think of his rumba?
It was okay. It wasn't great, obviously, but like it was okay. Like, I mean, obviously, as a pro, you can do as much as you can with your celebrity, And I think Peter did a good job with him. So it wasn't amazing. It was great. It was okay.
We started to see some improvement with him, though.
Oh, no, definitely,
There
yeah.
was a pointed toe that I was
Yes.
like, great, awesome.
Yes.
Just little
Baby
things,
steps.
baby
Baby
steps that you
steps.
start to see. So it's a nice improvement. How about for you, sorry, because, you're in the football world. This has been a difficult journey for him.
I'm laughing at Keo's reaction to what Kristyn just said. It was all right. He had very slow, steady progress, which, progress
Yeah.
is progress on the show,
Yeah.
which is what you want to see. And he did want to be there, and he was working hard. And
Right.
I was bummed to see him go. It could have been a few different people, that could have gone. So, look at Keo.
Really?
He's surprised. Yeah, there could have been a couple other
But don't you
people that
think,
could
like,
have
once they
gone.
announced she was safe, I was like, Michael's going home for
I knew
sure.
once they
Yeah.
told
Once
us,
you knew the bottom three, it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
there's no other choice really that it could have been without there being total uproar.
Yeah, if they're telling us that Riker and Willow are in jeopardy, which was, I think that was just for dramatic.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was all drama. Yeah, TV drama, manufactured drama.
It's true. Yeah, I liked the emotional aspect of the performance. I think the fact that he was able, after that package, like he was stood right by the screen on his own. Just like, I was like, oh my God, bless his heart, Everyone just looking at him. I can only imagine what must have been going through his mind, but he pulled it together and he just gave a great, honest performance in terms of the emotional aspect of it. Obviously, he was one of the weaker ones in terms of technique, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think he went out on a high note. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the way you want to go out if you're going to leave. I mean, that's the only
Exactly.
way.
Well, I do feel it was his best performance. I feel it was his best musicality through his body and just being on time, because there were a lot of routines that he was just rushing. And then he connected to it emotionally, which is, I know, is very, very hard for an athlete that is not allowed to show his emotion. But I think the fact that he watched that video before the dance maybe really hit him hard, and he was very emotional throughout the whole dance, and that was lovely to see. I mean, I felt for him, I felt bad. I'm like, this is a rejection night for you, because in the way he got rejected, quote unquote, on Dancing with the Stars, that same night, and his video was about his dad is rejecting him. It was like, oh my God, you poor guy. I just
dad
hope,
in the New York Times.
and that's rough. I mean,
rough.
you know, to each their own, and you know, you got to do what you got to do. But it's just a tough situation that he's in, and he's a very brave young man. That if he would have been in any current competing, I don't know if that's the right way, playing NFL teams, he would have probably gone a little bit further than that.
Oh, you think if he was currently
If
on
he
a
was
roster
cur-
or an NFL
yes.
team, he would have gone farther?
If he
That's
was
possible.
currently in an actual team and
Right.
maybe played a few seasons for an
Had the
actual
fans.
team, had the fans, but
Yeah.
in the way he was in the place where he's a football player and football players usually do good, but he's an unknown football player as a professional. You know, he's just starting up. So it was a tough place for him, and it was kind of a lot of the times I felt he was going against the flow, against the grain, in many ways. So it's, I just respect him so much more than just a dancer or just perform on Dancing with the Stars. There's just so many more aspects to him, and it was lovely to see a person like that being on the show, even for that short, really.
Yeah. He's groundbreaker. I mean, we're all,
Amazing,
it
man.
really is. It's 7788, total of 30 for him.
Yeah.
We move on to Riker and Allison doing a tango.
Who wants to start?
You start. You start.
Okay.
So you start.
You know how Anna feels.
I absolutely loved the outfits. Okay,
The red was fantastic.
These were probably my favorite outfits of the night. I did like Nastia's
But what
dress,
about the
too.
dance?
The dance. Okay, let's talk about the dance. I was pleasantly, happily surprised there was enough close hold choreography, because it's supposed to be, you know, the international style tango, the standard. So I was very happy for that. I do agree with, I think Carrie Ann said that it looks like you're fighting with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she is so strong as a dancer and as a performer, and Allison is used to doing her thing. But Riker is also so strong as a performer that he's used to doing his own thing. So now, in a way, it's not so much a challenge for Riker, but it's a challenge for this partnership to find that ebb and flow between the two of them, who leads and who follows, and when to give in and when to give. So it's an interesting place where, in my opinion, I don't want to say on the same level, but they on the same journey, which is very rare to see, because most of the times you see, you know, a celebrity here and the pro here, and the celebrities constantly always trying to catch up to the pro, but it's never really the case. Yeah. But here it's they on the same path.
Okay, well,
in my opinion.
I'm going to throw this out here because there was some controversy last week that he, you know, did compete in ballroom when he was younger, dance sport.
Oh.
Yeah, and he competed.
Was there?
Yeah, there was a little bit. And I
For
mean,
how long?
when he was a kid, he competed. It looks like with his sister, and I mean. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I mean, we've had plenty of trained dancers, but we really haven't had someone in ballroom. And he competed up against, I think, Brittany Cherry and Lindsay Arnold when he was younger.
Oh, interesting.
But it could have, I mean, was it like for a week, or was it a month, or was it like 2-3 years? Because that's a big deal.
That is a big deal and a big difference. But I also think, like, his dancing is, no one's dancing is perfect and anything else like that.
Well, no, absolutely not. But that then gives him even more awareness of how to lead and how to be a partner. You know, which in most cases, celebrities, even if they were, had some sort of dance experience, like let's say Mario Lopez, they had to, then their journey was to learn how to lead.
Right.
Because, you know, it's a totally different ball game in ballroom, is how to lead a woman and how to, you know, be there for her. So he actually has a bit of sense on that, which it's like, well, maybe that's why he's actually trying to lead.
And there you go. I mean, I just thought I'd, ask what you guys thought about it. Some people were upset that, because he's been saying he's never danced before. I think that the show tells them to always downplay their dance experience.
Yes.
It happens all the time on ABC.
Yes.
So I don't throw it on Riker. I really don't, because I always feel like they're encouraged to just be like, you didn't dance.
That was that. Nobody. No, that wasn't you. It was your past life. It wasn't.
You don't remember? They did it to Danica. I mean, we've seen it happen before too.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. What did you think of the dance? Because I know Lens called it hectic. Did you think it was hectic?
I kind of understand where he was coming from with that comment. It's not that they're not both great, and I think it is because they're such a power couple. Like, their energy is quite intense to watch sometimes. And I don't know, Julianne said something about their frame, because it seemed like really close and tight.
And small.
It just didn't feel like they were dancing out. It felt a bit like contained, but still really frantic. It's kind of...
And they're both big dancers.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like, watching it. Maybe it looked different watching it back on TV versus being in studio. But I didn't actually enjoy it. Not as in it wasn't a great performance, but... it just didn't kind of move me like last week. I was like, wow, from the beginning, it just got me involved. But this one, not so much, but still a great routine, I think, you know. So,
what do you think, Suri?
I thought I loved the strength and the sharpness, and it had me engaged from the beginning to the end. And I love their performance quality, but I agree with you. Yeah.
Are we looking for something softer from them, maybe? Like, I feel like I'm.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like ready for something?
yeah.
Polished.
Something romantic, like a rumba or contemporary.
I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
It will.
I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous from both of them.
I think he's doing great.
I love them as a couple. I really do.
Great.
But I think we've just been like, bam! They've shot out of a cannon since week one, and I think I just was like, I just want to pause, take a breath with you guys.
Yeah.
So maybe a nice rumba.
A little nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, their scores were solid. I mean, 8-8, 9-9 for a total of 34. So they are definitely on the right track.
Yeah, definitely.
No worries. I always feel like they're heading. They've got their eyes on the finale, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
You don't think so?
That was Keo.
Do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think they don't have their? Where would you place them? Did you think like top 5, top 6?
Yeah, top 6.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Interesting.
Top 4.
Are we going to start throwing those kind of bets now, week 4?
Well, we don't have him in studio every week. We don't have him in studio every week, so I think
Top 4?
My top 4 is gonna be Noah, Willow, Rumer, and Nastia. Definitely.
Interesting.
Did you do your top 4 ahead of time before the show started? We both did, and I'll tell you, like, I think mine's already messed up. So
I'm doing very well.
good. 3 of mine are great. One of them I was like, oops. All right. Let's go on to Robert and Kim. And jeez, I know. Is there anything more lovely out on the dance floor than these two? Just like the sweetness, the joy, the happiness. Not necessarily a happy moment for him, 2006, when he lost his mother, but I think what a wonderful tribute to be able to do the show when she loved the show so much.
Yeah, Robert is just fun to watch. Like, I just love them too. Like, the chemistry with those two is just phenomenal. Like, every time when I look at them, and his smile, it's the best. Like, when he just like... just want to dance with him.
That would be very interesting if you would, actually. I want to see you doing the swirls from yesterday, but instead of Kim. I actually want to say something about Robert. This man is working very, very hard.
Yeah, he is.
Because if you look at his footwork, and if you look at his frame's
so much better.
It's actually...
He's improving.
And the routines aren't like super complicated, but there's still a lot of content, and they're still very full, and there's enough choreography. I mean, a lot of people are going to hate me right now, but his technique is better than Riker.
Oh.
Not his natural ability, not his dance ability, not his
technique. Yes, you're right.
That his technique, the way he's moving from foot to foot, the way he places his foot, his rise and falls. He had proper rise and fall in close hold pivots, which is very, very hard.
Yes.
Try it at home. I dare you. So it's like,
we will Periscope that later.
Yes, I was so impressed with him, and I actually saw them for a quick second on Sunday, and he was just super excited, and he it's like, I just got to make sure I'm not going to watch that video before. It's like, it was very emotional. I'm just going to make sure and not watch it. And it looked like they didn't, because he was so affected in the video, understandably. But it looked like I'm just going to go and do my dance.
They did.
And then he started to get emotional again when the judges started talking to him. So I think the scores were spot on for him.
Which were 8-9, 8-9, 34.
His technique is improving. And that's purely because he's working nonstop.
He really wants to be here.
He loves it, and he loves it. I mean, this is definitely one of those things for him that it's not just for his mom, but he just really enjoys the experience. Like Kim said, he just wants to rehearse all the time. And
awesome.
He's one of the sweetest.
Keo's like, I want that.
He's like, you definitely want to dance with Robert. You definitely want to dance with Robert.
And skip that.
So I am so impressed with him, and I honestly feel he's going to be top 5.
Oh, look at that. I love that. What did you see in studio, Darvena? I mean, because I would just love to see that live.
Oh, it was just, their connection is just unreal. Like, to be in the room with them too, like from when they walk onto the floor and the way they communicate with one another, and they're just in their own little bubble.
Oh.
Like, it's like just the two of them dancing for themselves, but it just translates to everyone, and they didn't watch the package. I think they were having a little chat beforehand. I think Kim was trying to keep him preoccupied, so he didn't have to watch it. But they're just great. I want them in the competition week after week. Like, I look forward to watching them. Their routines are always great. Kim always looks fantastic. He's always got this great smile on his face, like he wouldn't want to be anywhere else than where he is right there in that moment. And I'm all about that. So.
Really present.
Could have been Disney week, the way she was dressed and how pretty it was.
I know. It's true.
Until next week.
Which one of my favorite weeks. I can't wait for
we
that.
Love Disney week.
We do. Let's go on to Chris and Whitney doing the rumba. Of course, he has to say 2014. I was watching this with my boyfriend. I'm like, he can't be like, 10 years ago was way better than last year when I got engaged to you, Whitney, the other Whitney. He's the Bachelor.
It so hard for him.
It is. He has no choice. But come on. Let's talk about...
Can we just keep the close-up on Keo all the time and just film his reaction, because I think his reaction speaks louder than words.
And that's why we're going to start with him about this rumba. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it wasn't great. It was like rumba for me is when you dance with a woman. And you make other women look at Whitney and go, I want to be Whitney, right? And then men go, I want to be Chris. It didn't make me feel like that. It was just like steps after steps after steps. For me, I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't something special. Like, I was like,
do you think it's that weird situation of like he's just kind of newly engaged and he's gonna, or you just think it's just a connection between Whitney,
I think it's
Carson, and Chris?
So which Whitney?
I don't agree with
Whitney.
I don't agree with that. Chris gets in his head about steps. So until he gets past a certain point where he knows he's good, that's when he can relax, is once he knows he gets past certain steps. He said on All Access, he said in other interviews that he gets so in his head. I don't think it's a lack of chemistry, and I don't think it has anything to do with his fiance versus Whitney, the Whitney versus Whitney at all. I think it's just and I'm guilty of it. I know what it's like to get in your head and you're worried, but you can't really let go. You can't really enjoy it, and then you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah.
So...
Definitely, I feel it.
I'm going to have to disagree on that one. I think that it must be really tough. Like, imagine, she's sitting in the studio, like, here, and he's doing a rumba with the other Whitney, like, here. Like, it's a bit much. Like, and I think, with all the questions as well, I think it's hard for him. And rumba being such, an intimate dance, I think he struggled with that. And I think that came across in the dance, and that kind of got rid of that emotional connection, which they're trying to work on. It's not the most natural connection, but I think with this dance and all of the kind of interview questions and whatnot, it just didn't really help them, I don't think.
Yeah, he's with Whitney, his fiance. I don't even know why people let's just...
By the way, they include her all the time on interviews backstage and on All Access. So it's not like she's watching everything from afar.
No, for sure. I mean, I didn't mean it like that, but just in terms of, you know, it must be hard for him. He's newly engaged, you know, to be that close to somebody. He's not a professional dancer where, you know, he's used to that all the time.
He's not a performer either. He's a farmer.
Exactly.
It's not easy.
It must be a bit hard.
Yeah, he's gone from like reality television to a dance competition reality show, but it is performance based, so it's not easy.
No.
Anything to add on their rumba?
It was just unfortunate dance. I really enjoyed his jive.
Yes.
You know, I thought, wow, look at this guy. He really has a potential, and I still think he has a potential. You know, I really enjoyed his Argentine tango. But this dance just was clunky and disconnected from his body, but also from the music and, you know, from his partner. It's like, okay, you're a farmer. Okay, all right, your fiance is sitting right there. Okay, but so if you're a doctor and you have to do a heart surgery and your fiance is waiting outside and, you know, you just had an argument with your colleague, is that going to mean you're going to make a wrong cut and murder your patient? It's like, do your job. Mm-hmm. You're on the show, you sign the contract. Nobody made you do it. Do your job. If that means spending some quality time with Whitney Carson, and, you know, bring your fiance along, whatever, or maybe actually don't bring the fiance along. Go to the movie, chat. It's like, clearly, there's no interest romantically between the two of them. But it's like, you just have to connect to her as a person, as your partner, as your teammate. On the dancing side, I wish he would spend a little more time on technique. Like, I don't know what he was learning. I mean, I feel like he just learned his routine this week. I don't know what they were working on. It was just so lacked intention to me. But I do really like him. I think he's very sexy.
Sweet.
And he's charming, and I want him to do well. And I thought he was super charming in his jive and super sexy in his tango. So I'm like, this is just disappointing.
It's one of those off weeks. I mean, everyone does have it too, where you're like, this just was not my dance.
Yeah.
The rumba's not for me. 7-6-7-7 total of 27 for them. Before we move into Patty and Artem, Miss Patty. Miss Patty.
Oh my God.
We do want to remind everyone, iTunes, of course, you can download us. There is an app for that podcast if you want to take a look at that, and you can rate us on the iTunes site. Of course, that means 5 stars. 5 stars. We sure appreciate all of the ratings and all of the feedback. And of course, you're watching us live on YouTube now, which I think is awesome. That's telling Keo, you're never off camera anymore.
Nope.
Ever. But thank you so much for your support this season. Let's move into Patty and Artem. It's 1973. Her baby boy is born.
Aww.
So sweet. And it is jazz. Or Charleston. It was more of a Charleston.
More of a Charleston, really.
But that's okay. It falls into the category of jazz, I would say. You know, the one thing I love about all her dances is she always gets that little solo moment, and she just kills it.
Every time.
Every time.
Without fail.
Well, she should. She's Patti LaBelle. That's what we expect.
But, you know, I don't think I expected all of this. I expected, like, divaliciousness from her, but I don't think I expected the warmth and the fun and the excitement that she brings to the dance floor.
Wow.
Every week I look forward to this, and I don't know who put Artem together with Miss Patty, but I do think it's genius.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yes.
They did good.
Yeah, when they were like, okay, we've got this contestant, which pro do we match it up with? I would never have been like,
let's match the most senior, most diva-like contestant with the sexy, mostly naked, hot Russian dancer. Perfect.
It's working.
Like, I like it. Like, you know, like, all, like in her like numbers, like from week 1 when she has that 2 8s, you know, she's just like closes her eyes and she's like,
She feels it.
Oh, Miss Patty, I love it. Like, you just, I get that. And when she did it yesterday, I was like at the back, I was like, It's fine.
She does she kind of like touches herself. Like,
just like,
It's a little like this.
I'm like, yeah.
Cheers.
Who knew she had those legs too? Hello.
I know, right?
Gorgeous.
How do they look in person? Please tell me. Like,
and so shiny and she is rocking.
She's like, put that glim on me. Put that glitter on me.
Have you seen that woman when she goes to rehearsals?
Yes.
with her colorful.
Yes.
Yes.
The way she just opened the door for her, the way she just comes up, the way she just greets everyone. Oh my God, just
The outfit,
I'm like-
Everything.
amazing.
What do you think about some of the comments? Like they want more and more content from her. It doesn't bug me, honestly, because I just want to see her. But they start going, well, we're moving into week 5, and this is what we're expecting from you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching a Patti LaBelle concert. That I don't feel like I'm watching really necessarily Dancing with the Stars when I watch her. I mean, it's amazing and it's absolutely. I'm screaming at the screen and watching and dancing too. It's awesome. But yeah, we're getting as we move along. When do we need more?
It doesn't bother me at all. Honestly, I can watch Patti LaBelle concert the whole show, the whole season, every single week, because it's only like 5 minutes of Patti LaBelle, and then everybody else are like in the, bumping and grinding and doing their thing and very focused and in the competition and in the zone. And there comes Patti, and she does the thing, and I'm like, yes.
I need that.
It's just delicious. It's a wonderful change, and she could have a few more steps. And I think the footwork that she messed up some footwork yesterday, but it's like whatever. It's like doesn't matter.
Yeah, and
Doesn't bother me.
She got some great scores, 8, 7, 7, 8. So
Hello.
love that.
Hello.
Oh, and if you drink sake, you get pregnant. That's also what I learned from her package.
Funny.
Drink sake, get pregnant. Don't drink sake, kids. Unless you want to get pregnant. All right. That is your public service announcement from AfterBuzz TV.
Oh yes.
Rumer and Val doing the waltz. Cyberbullying is kind of the theme this season.
Really?
We're seeing that it just, let's be honest, it affects everyone. I mean, everyone has seen it. We've all been victims of it. We all get tweets or, messages on Facebook and Instagram and everything else. And people need to be nicer to each other. So you really see sort of some of the vulnerability with Rumer's life and how tough it's been in certain parts. So what did we think of her waltz?
It wasn't a waltz. Really, it was a foxtrot. Timing-wise, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 measure versus 1, 2, 3 measure, which is the waltz.
Is that the issue with the song that they had selected?
That's the issue with the song that was given to them.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they gave the song to Val and said, Val, this is your waltz. And he said, it's not a waltz. Because he's a professional. He knows the waltz between a waltz and a foxtrot.
He knows.
He can differentiate. So it was definitely the song that was given to them. And it just was, to me, I think it was gorgeous and explosive and dynamic, but it was in a way very similar to their week 1.
Mm.
So to me, it was like watching 2 similar dances to different pieces of music with different entrances and different endings with different costumes. But it was a very similar feel, very similar style. It was still good to look at, but it's like looking at the same thing. Like, Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, Die Hard.
It's a sequel.
That's funny.
That is hilarious.
That was funny.
You know what I really like about she's like
I think
and I know she can be diverse after watching her salsa last night. I mean, the girl can do it all, really. So it was again just a kind of luck of a draw that they gave her that song, and it's a great song for like a rumba. Or like a contemporary. I'm like, I wish they would have given her a contemporary that week to that song. It would have been phenomenal.
She's got really nice length. I always, people don't often extend out with their arms or legs, and she's got it. And I'm like, it's just kind of like innate, which is really kind of nice. But
she's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
She really. It's almost like. I'm so happy that you talked about that issue, because looking at her now, and she's talking about, people call me ugly, and you're looking at this gorgeous young woman, and you like, boo you all haters. She is gorgeous, and you see her in person, she's gorgeous. She has a phenomenal body, beautiful skin, these really exotic eyes, she's... Like people, and we all go through that ugly duckling stage when we're like teenagers. You're like, and we all have
braces.
that.
I hear you.
Braces and all that, and funky hairstyles, and just it's just a part of life, and people just need to relax and remember how they were when they were 14.
Yeah. Well, she's one of the top contenders. So, and she's done, I don't think anyone would probably argue that she's finale bound. So,
for sure.
What do we think she needs to do, to improve a little bit?
Well, I think what was nice about this week was we saw, you know, that she's vulnerable and that, you know, she isn't just going out there and just hitting it, you know, that it's an emotional experience for her and she's learning. And I spoke to Val yesterday and he was talking about, you know, how she's just like everyone else in terms of, you know, she's just a normal girl that kind of gets hang-ups and whatnot, and he's kind of working on her confidence. So even though she is from an amazing family that are all performers and whatnot, she's still a person, and I think she's growing with the show on a deeper level, which I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, because obviously she's a great dancer, and there's things to improve on, but I think that's gonna really expand her performance.
Yeah, if we talk about technical things, I would love to see a little bit stronger neckline from her. She and Vala almost the same height, so sometimes she ends up hiding and like making herself smaller and shorter, and I would like, as much as I enjoy her stretching her arms, I really would like her to still continue working on this part of her body so it continues to lengthen all the way through the neck, through the top of the head when she does the ballroom dances. In Latin, it doesn't bother me at all. She's where she needs to be.
She's nailing it. 9899 35.
Great.
Yeah.
Great score. Awesome.
Yeah.
Come and knock on our door. It's Suzanne and Tony doing the foxtrot. Shout out again to production design on.
Yes.
I mean, come on, recreating the set for Three's Company is unbelievable.
And in the time they do it in, like
I know,
watching
right?
them all kind of bring it all in,
Everything,
and then just getting it out there. It was like, I was literally like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hello?
That is one of the most amazing things when you go in studio to watch the show, to see the crew, how quickly they put things together. I mean, all of a sudden an army comes out of nowhere and assembles this. But they are the best in the business. And I mean, this is one of the best sets. Even just when you see the ballroom floor and the disco ball and everything, you're like, this is so special compared to just like, oh, I'm going to see a sitcom and it's like a bunch of cardboard walls. This is like amazing. Dancing with the Stars. It really is.
This is legit, y'all.
This is big time. This is big time.
Great show.
Machine.
All right, well, what do we think of Suzanne this week? I'll start with you, Darvena.
I like the performance. I think technique-wise, I think she needs to, you know, step it up as we are kind of moving along in the competition. So for me, that I think would be the main focus. But this performance in terms of the story and, you know, all of that was great. You know, I enjoyed it. But I think it's time to kind of show us a bit more
Really?
in terms of
I actually disagree
her
with you.
dancing. Really?
I see when I watched them perform yesterday, I have no reference to Three as a company. I've never seen it.
Three's Company.
Three's
Neither.
company.
Three is a company.
Three something company. Somebody's company.
You're like, I don't want
Three.
company. Do you have a reference to it too? Or do you?
They're laughing. Like,
Right? I need.
Wait, do you, Jane? Okay, wait. So there are 6 people in this studio right now. Jane's visiting from Australia. Suri and I are the only ones that have any sort of reference to this show.
I know that's
We are in a minority.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
And all the kids that are watching that are like under 18, which is a lot of the audience, they have no idea what Three's Company is.
Maybe there's reruns and
Maybe TV Land or something.
something like that. No, but you know what she's known for. What she's known for. I mean, I know Suzanne Summers for lots of other things. Thigh Master and her diet books, and just a lot of her kind of motivational stuff. But so I looked at it from just as a performance, as a just forget about her legacy for a second and just look at it as a performance. And I thought there was way more content. She never missed her footwork from what you could see on the TV. Maybe different angles show different. But she never missed her footwork. She was in frame with Tony. She was on time. Whatever the syncopations they had, they were matching. So to me, this particular dance was her best dance on the technical level so far.
Yeah.
So I think people will maybe notice it, and then they will really see it next week. I'm really hoping for that.
Sorry, what'd you think?
Thought it was super cute, fun, and I agree with you. I think it was their best dance. I am a little worried for them, though. I don't know how much long. I mean, maybe the next couple weeks, kind of a thing. But it was cute.
Unless
How
she
could you not
starts
like that?
symphony.
It was really fun. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, was it Len that said that there was some nice content in there? I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the
Yeah,
judges
yeah,
pointed it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So I think that Tony.
It was fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Tony knows he can add it in, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think he definitely.
Tony's doing a great job with Suzanne.
He looks like he's having a lot
he
of fun
is.
with her.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He's loving.
He
He's
likes to
he's
be
he's in love with the fact that she lives in Palm Springs and he gets to golf every day.
Every weekend, right? 777-728. By the way, if you guys aren't following Tony on Instagram, who is doing his Instagram posts this season? Because there's lots of decorations on him now. There's frames and
Right.
hearts, and
I think he has fans. Some fans do it.
I
and he
love it.
retweets it and things.
It's very colorful. It makes my day.
Oh my god.
It's hilarious. He's like, I'm in Palm Springs, and there'll be like a pink flamingo on the photo.
Yes.
And like little hearts, and
Yeah, I
who
know.
knew he had like a little softer side to him. All right,
Oh.
all right, Willow and Mark, let's go.
Well, I must say, Willow and Mark, the production of that number was amazing.
Insane.
Contemporary.
Off the charts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like when she killed everyone, then like pictures, that was sick for me. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I have to say, he showed me on Friday their rehearsal that day on video, and during that footage, I couldn't tell where Willow was. I couldn't tell the difference between her and the pros, and it looked so phenomenal on Friday. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. Mind blowing, amazing.
He's
Totally
he's
agree.
gunning for an Emmy nomination. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
throwing it out
True.
there.
That routine
True, that routine was
was-
I
amazing.
agree.
That
was worthy. Definitely. I loved it.
Wow.
I thought they did a great job. And Willow is really...
She's improving.
But
so
yeah,
much.
like you said, she's dancing with all of these pros, and she was just not missing a step, you know? I thought she was great.
And
she's
I
fierce.
and I agree on the comment. Well, first of all, it was my favorite routine of the night,
Yeah,
hands down, for many reasons: production, music. No, Hunger Games reference. I've read all the books. I've watched all the movies. I'm a dork. I know. But just the fact that she is fierce, and you forget that she's 14, and see that's the example. Okay, so I don't want to be that way, but I will be. Chris, 14-year-old, farmer, whatever. We all have our excuses. She doesn't give any excuses. She does her job. She does what needs to be done, and she does it with commitment. And I think that's what's going to get her really, really far in the show. And I agree with the judges that this the music was very hard because it didn't have that clear beat. So she had to be so just on that one sound or that word or whatever it was, and she didn't miss a single breath of that routine. So I was just like, wow, this is incredible.
She nailed it. Nastia got the first 10 of the season, but Willow also came in with her own 10s. 10,
Yeah.
9, 10, 10.
Yeah,
Good job.
And you could just see the people like Riker in the back and everybody like the older ones.
So old.
And when she got
With their
her
wheelchairs
10s
and walkers.
Yeah, when she got her 10s, people were just like, whoom. You could just see in the room
That
like,
energy, yeah?
because they probably treating her a little bit like a kid. They're like, oh, it's just a kid. No, she is here to bust some booty.
Game
She is.
on.
Yeah,
She- game on.
She
She's
threw
on
down
fire.
the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Watch
I
out,
think
kids.
she did.
Final dance of the evening, and we only just have a couple minutes left of the show, but Noah and Sharna also doing contemporary. I think we were all waiting for this. ABC knew it. They put them last.
Yeah.
It's just astounding, and the human body, the human mind, what you're able to do. I think he's just a great testament to all of that. In addition to serving our country in not easy conditions, and it really gives you an appreciation for veterans of our military.
Yeah, I'm
sure.
just so happy that he decided to do the show. He was open about talking about his experience, and he was pretty open about it. But the fact that it reached out to so many people, and he was able to show those pictures from hospital and pictures from when he was serving, because this really kind of opens up our eyes, because we live in our own little world, and we just don't we have the first world problems, so to say, and we forget like what these guys go through, and there's so many veterans that lose an arm, a leg, or both leg, or situations that are similar to Noah, and it just brings that awareness back, which is just so great and just so fantastic. We all need that. We all need that.
It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
Keo, I'd love for you to just mention, because as a guy, you're doing lots of lifts. It's incredible what Sharna's choreographing for him, but talk about the strength it's taking for Noah to do what he did last night. I mean, with some of those, moments.
Yesterday, man. Like watching him at the back there cry, obviously, like after his package, and then what he did, and because I didn't watch the dress run, I didn't watch it. I was like, I can't watch that. I'll watch that later. But when I watched it and the things that he was doing, and I'm like, wow. As a guy, when you do that by just one
arm press,
it's a bit rough, if you don't have the support from this arm, even if you don't using it, but you need the support. But he doesn't have that, man. And for me, I was like, how do you do that? And applaud to Sharna, she's doing an amazing job with him.
Sharna's
that woman is just an inspiration. So yeah,
another Emmy contender, I think. I think that there's some great choreography going on with all the pros this season, and not just we're just talking about a lot of people. What did you think?
I can't say anything more than these guys said. For that lift is what I wrote down in my notes. It was just, what? Are you kidding? And the mirror was amazing. Because I think it was Julianne that said we all can relate to looking in the mirror and seeing issues or seeing, what we perceive as issues and whatnot. So that was powerful. Well done, Sharna.
Oh, yes. Both of them. 88888 for a total of 32. Just a couple of quick questions, Keo, before we wrap up, because we've got 2 seconds. But
great.
Are big numbers coming back? Because I'm getting a little. I know we had a big number last week, but then not this week. Are they coming back? Are we going to see you dancing maybe on some of the results shows?
Hopefully, yeah.
Hope so.
It's all in the talks.
There's big numbers. There's big numbers coming.
Okay.
We have a big number.
I just want big numbers. I want some. Yeah, I want you back.
Well, thank you.
Louis, I want to see people back.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I want you back.
You want you back.
Oh, come on. You're around.
Well, hey, when you get voted off, and this was one of the fans asked, is it optional to come back and dance with the troupe every week, or can you go off to New York and just be I'm gonna do something else? Peace out.
You don't have a choice.
There's your answer.
Obviously, I don't. For me, when I get off, I want to dance.
Of course.
I just want to get those, Whitney or whoever, just dance with them the whole season. It's fun, Yeah. And it's fun to be in the show, so.
I get it. I was I didn't know if you could just kind of peace out and be I'll be back for the finale.
I'm
going on vacation.
I'm going to Cayman Islands, y'all. No, you can't do that.
And they announced the tour.
Here we go. Congratulations.
All right.
Very
We'll
nice.
see you in a million cities this summer. All right. Well, we do have to wrap up. You guys they're giving me the big signal. I know. It went by fast.
Just started.
I know. But Keo, thank you so much for joining us again. We appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Such a weird act.
Tell us where we can find you online.
Wow, Twitter, Keo Dancer, Instagram, Keo Motsepe, Facebook, Keo Dancer. Yeah, pretty much it.
Suri Serano.
At Suri Serano on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Periscope.
Darvena.
At Diva Darv on Twitter and Instagram.
At Trebunskaya on Twitter, Trebunskaya on Instagram, Anna Trebunskaya Facebook, and the website.
At Kristyn Burtt on Twitter and the Kristyn Burtt on Facebook. And what else is there? Instagram. Thank you so much, you guys. We will see you next week for Disney Week. We'll be back.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.